was thinking about trading Carr, but it's David, not Derek.
And had a good conversation with the quarterbacks this morning, and so we're going to go ahead and start Jarrett the last couple games of the season here.
Well, there you have it, Raider Nation. Josh McDaniels has officially over Derek Carr. Derek Carr never had a shot this year at all. I hate to say I told you so, but we saw the writing on the wall long ago when the contract was signed that had a 1 year out after the 2023 season. Well, it looks like now sketchy Josh McDaniels and shady Mark Davis are going to utilize that 1 year out. Due to Derek Carr's contract being fully guaranteed if he's injured, the Raiders have decided to bench Derek Carr and instead play Jarrett Stiddham for the final 2 games. But we knew this was happening from the start. Ever since we saw Josh McDaniels call some BS play calls throughout the season, pretty much intentionally tank several games this year. We knew he wanted to make Derek Carr look bad to justify moving on from the franchise QB. And watch this happen once Jarrett Stiddham starts to play. Watch all the weird BS play calls that Josh McDaniels tends to do completely go away under Jarrett Stiddham. Not gonna see any wide receiver passes or any weird ass reverses with Davante Adams. And it appears that Derek Carr was just used by the Raiders, used to lure Davante Adams in Vegas, and now Davante Adams, due to all the guarantees in his contract, is stuck in Las Vegas without Derek Carr. And it is because Mark Davis and Josh McDaniels never gave a shit about this season. They never tried this season. They wasted players' bodies. They made them all put it on the line this year for nothing because they were never ever going to try to win it this year. And just like we thought, the reason why Derek Carr was so emotional after the Colts game is because he knew they were sabotaging him and the fix was in. Instead, there's always been a long-term plan which we are going to reveal today to bring one certain individual on the Raiders team to totally make Al Davis roll in his grave. Derek Carr never had a chance because these wheels have been in motion since 2020.
Could Brady be a free agent this coming offseason? Again, it would be certainly the most high-profile free agent.
Tom Brady back with Josh McDaniels in Las Vegas with Davante Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and a defense that they won all in on. Is that like the most obvious thing of all time? Is that what we're assuming is going to take place?
And the 2 most obvious places where I think he'd have coaches he could really respect on that side of the ball would be San Francisco and Vegas.
Number 2, I'm going to go with myself. I'm putting Tom ahead of me because he's Tom Brady, like I said. I think Chandler Jones is number 1, but Tom Brady will be number 1 this year.
Will Tom Brady replace Derek Carr as the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders next year? For the first time in a while, it actually seems like a real possibility. Tom Brady is currently set to be a free agent and he is very unhappy with the Buccaneers. And Josh McDaniels, the head coach of the Raiders, obviously has a long history winning multiple championships with Tom Brady. And what's crazy is Mark Davis almost made it happen with Tom Brady in 2020. Dana White has since let us know about that deal. And lately, the Raiders team media and some of the biggest talking heads in the NFL have been critical of Derek Carr and not Josh McDaniels. And what's even more insane on top of this is the fact that Tom Brady was just spotted this year in 2022 with Mark Davis at an Aces game and the girlfriend of a star player on the Raiders. If you want content from a real Raiders fan, make sure you subscribe to this channel. It all started January 2020 when Mark Davis was spotted at a Conor McGregor fight talking to Tom Brady. And this went completely viral at the time. Dana White started hyping it up even more, saying that he thinks Brady to the Raiders is inevitable.
Hey, Tom Brady was here. Davis was here. I saw them talking. What's going on? Are you guys Las Vegans or what? Come on, man. If that dude isn't playing for Boston, he's playing here.
And he even had Dana White talking to then rookie at the time, Josh Jacobs, about the possibility of Tom Brady to the Raiders.
What about if we can get Tom Brady out to the Raiders? If the Patriots don't take him, he's got to come to Vegas and play for the Raiders.
That's how I feel. So if he want to leave anywhere, I feel like he should be there.
Josh Jacobs sort of dodged the question and said, hey, he'd be happy with whatever the Raiders decide to do, but this was a real story back in the day. Adam Schefter reported that the Raiders were going to pursue Tom Brady if he becomes a free agent in the 2020 offseason. And it got even crazier where there were rumors that Tom Brady was offered a 2-year, $60 million contract by the Raiders. And now we learned, according to Dana White, that this deal for Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski to the Raiders was gonna happen. He was making it happen behind the scenes, and it was only John Gruden who would shut this deal down and say he is gonna stick with Derek Carr.
I worked to put that deal together for Brady and Gronk to come to the Raiders. It was almost a done deal. And at the last minute, Gruden blew the deal up and said that he didn't want him.
And Mark Davis was asked about all this in 2020, and he said with the wink that all he was talking to Tom Brady about was if he was going to go to the Manny Pacquiao fight. And so after Dana White talked about Brady and Gronk to the Raiders on the Gronkcast, Rob Gronkowski even confirmed it on that show.
That is exactly what happened,
and you just told the story.
And Mark Davis was also asked about this deal this year, and he says that was 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. Talk to Dana about it. He basically claims he does not remember, and all he remembers is that Tom Brady became a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And Brady has also denied these rumors as well, saying, oh, you know, all I know is I only wanted to come play for the Buccaneers. But Dana White on the Manning cast recently doubled down on these Tom Brady to Raiders rumors, saying yes, it was gonna happen.
You said you had a deal orchestrated to get Brady and Gronk to the Raiders.
The deal was in the works for both of those guys to come play for the Raiders.
So Mark Davis and Tom Brady obviously had to deny these rumors this year since they are working with different people, but we all know it was a real thing that could have happened. And it's even crazier because we know that Tom Brady talked about a certain team who chose that mother effer over him.
One of the teams, they were interested, and all of a sudden they weren't interested at the very end. I was sitting there thinking, you're sticking with that mother.
So fast forward to the present day, Tom Brady's former offensive coordinator with the New England Patriots, Josh McDaniels, is currently the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. But we've never known how close these two guys were. There have been times where Tom Brady has just chewed McDaniels out on the sideline. But just recently, a year ago, during the Patriots versus Buccaneers game, you saw this slow embrace, slow hug between Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady. And yeah, it was kind of creepy, but it just shows that there's a lot of affection there. And we all know Tom Brady has never been afraid to bend the rules. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, and Tom Brady were found guilty of tampering in the 2021 season while Brady was part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so when we see Tom Brady in Las Vegas at an Aces game in 2022 over the summer in May, makes us think, hey, what kind of conversations are happening between him and Mark Davis? And keep in mind, not only was Brady hanging out with Mark Davis, but also another person who is associated with the Raiders, and that is Kelsey Plum, who is the current partner, girlfriend of star tight end Darren Waller of the Las Vegas Raiders. You see her chilling with Tom Brady. It seems like they do have some type of friendship. Brady actually even sent Plum a jersey, and she posted this on social media being very excited. And you've seen Darren Waller also at Aces games with Mark Davis, the owner. And now on top of this, you got Mark Davis chilling with Brady and Darren Waller's girlfriend. And speaking of Darren Waller, Derek Carr has actually done well this year despite not having Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller for the vast majority of the season. And it is odd because Waller said he was available to come back in that Rams game, and Josh McDaniels chose to not have him come back. And it was almost like Josh McDaniels is trying to starve Derek Carr of his weapons this year. But Derek Carr is still currently 11th in passing yards and also tied for 8th in passing touchdowns this year. And when you look at it, if the Raiders would have won 3 more games this season, they would be in the playoffs right now. The Chargers got in with just 9 wins. And McDaniels has lost in historic fashion, blowing double-digit leads at halftime, the most ever by a head coach in a single season. You can find several games this year. Check out our previous videos where the loss falls solely on the decision-making of Josh McDaniels. And it's so odd that Raiders team media just refuses to criticize Josh McDaniels, whether it be JT the Brick or Lincoln Kennedy. All season long, they have never been able to say anything negative about this guy. And maybe it's because Mark Davis said that Josh McDaniels will be the head coach of the Raiders for years to come. Mark Davis likes to check out. He likes to let somebody else take control of the team. He doesn't really care too much about football. And so Derek Carr was always going to be the scapegoat this year, and what they did was make the trade for Davante Adams, convince Carr to take this shitty contract in which they can get rid of him so easily. And then McDaniels would go on to make sure that Derek Carr has the worst passer rating he's ever had since 2014 and convince convinced the fan base to turn on Derek Carr by saying, oh, he can't get it done with Davante Adams. It has nothing to do with the coaching staff, though. Nothing to do with the coaching staff. So McDaniels will go on to call shitty plays this year, make horrible decisions to justify to the fan base that we need to move on from Derek Carr. And you've already seen fans start to turn on Derek Carr to have amnesia about what happened this whole entire season. And now certain fans are even going to desire and want Tom Brady. The Raiders have won too many games so far where they're not going to be drafting in the top 5, so there's no way they get an elite young QB. Plus, Mark Davis has always wanted Tom Brady. He wants the media spectacle and all the cameras to be on Las Vegas, even though Tom Brady is completely washed this year, but you know the refs rig it for him when he wants them to. Next season, the Super Bowl will be in Vegas, and it is so scripted and obvious what's going to happen right now. Tom Brady will likely be holding up the Lombardi Trophy in Las Vegas, thanks to help from Roger Goodell and the referees and Mark Davis. And then the Raiders won't go back to the big game, the Super Bowl, for another 20 years after. And now the Raiders are nothing but a hollow shell of themselves. They are nothing but the Patriots now with black uniforms. Mark Davis has tarnished his dad, Al Davis's legacy. And all real Raiders fans can do, real Raiders fans who can't stand Tom Brady, real Raiders fans who have always hated the Patriots, all we can do as our team becomes Patriots 2.0 is just wait for Tom Brady to retire. Either way, we'll be live for every game and giving you guys updates on everything happening with the Raiders, even if it's as shitty as this. Like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe for more Raiders content. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I know you won't have a good one.